Hello, Tar Heel Nation. Welcome back. Finally back. Missed the podcast I wanted to do after the Kentucky game, but welcome in. It's 2019. Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Hope it was good for everybody. Everybody was safe. And thank you for coming into the new year with me. We got a lot to cover. I'm trying to jam this podcast in. My kids are obviously off school, and so I'm trying to throw it in here while they're downstairs, hopefully being quiet, being good, watching each other so nobody dies. If you have kids, you kind of know what that's like. But gonna try to make this a little bit quicker. But again, we got quite a bit of stuff. We got 3 games to go over to finish up non-conference play, and then we're gonna look ahead to the start of ACC play with our game at Pittsburgh and then against State. So we're jumping and we're going to kind of see where the Tar Heels are starting the new year and going into league play. So thanks for joining. Thanks for subscribing, listening, all that good stuff. Love you guys and love you for all of that. So hopefully I don't talk too fast as well. But let's jump in here right away as we go. The Kentucky game didn't go obviously as we planned. I'd kind of said, I'm not too worried about it. They obviously come out of their shell. They had the transfer, and it seems like it kind of let guys find their roles a little bit better, play a little bit freer, especially at the point guard position. Ashton Hagens killed us with 8 steals. He really killed us on the defensive end of the floor there. And it's not just our game. Either we gave him the confidence or, again, that transfer just kind of opened up his confidence to play a lot better. But his defense going past our game as well has looked really good for them. And yeah, we couldn't contain Travis Reed down low. Our big guys, again, have just kind of been the struggle for us this year. Garrison Brooks, getting in 2 quick fouls. I believe, all 3 of these games that we started, within like the first 5 minutes, he's got 2 fouls and he's sitting on the bench. So not good there. Just, we can't defend the teams that actually have an inside presence and can make us pay from there. So that's going to be something, again, to watch all year. Obviously, we've talked about the pick and roll defense and just our defense in general. We know about guarding the 3-point line. This team just isn't there defensively. Again, they looked a little bit better against Harvard, but that was maybe more Harvard, and we'll talk about that when we get there. But I don't know. We only lost by 8. It was 80-72, but it just never felt like we were going to make a run. We were never going to, really get in this game. We didn't shoot horrible. We shot 43%, and it's about the same for both halves. We shot 39% from 3. I know free throw shooting we weren't great, but it definitely wasn't what killed us. They shot 43%, so pretty much the same percentage. They actually shot worse percentage from 3-point line, knocked down a couple more, but that wasn't the story. They did out-rebound us, 44-33. Obviously, we know that is not good. Turnovers, we actually had the exact same amount, so that isn't our struggle like it had been in past games. Really, our I guess you'd say shooting, we didn't shoot horrible, but we didn't shoot like the Gonzaga game. And yeah, when we talk about the deficiencies on defense, the way we make up for that is our offense, and that's what we did against Gonzaga. I mean, they still scored 90 points, but we just shot lights out. And when we don't do that, we are going to be very susceptible, whatever that word is, you know what I'm saying, to losing. So, yeah, that's really what it comes down to. And I don't know. I don't really want to go through all the individual scores for all these games, but Cam Johnson led us with 17. Luke May had 16, and then Kenny Williams had 11. Those are the only 3 guys in double figures. Our bench scoring was something to mention here. We had Seventh Woods with 7 and Nasir Little with 4. That's all we got off the bench. But yeah, it was just kind of a, I don't know, whatever game, and just never really got into it. And that stinks because it's a big game. Obviously propels bigger for Kentucky. They needed it more, but propels them into getting the confidence, getting going, because this was, either ranked number 1 or 2 in all the polls preseason. And obviously they got blew out by Duke, and, that kind of fixed their ranking, and they haven't done anything since then. But now people are looking at them completely different. 2 weeks ago, people were like, what's wrong with Kentucky? People are transferring. They haven't played anybody, except when they do, they've lost. Now all of a sudden people are like, oh, is Kentucky back? Are they Final Four contender? All this stuff. So, yeah, that part really stinks. And obviously, on the national stage, we want to perform well, which we didn't really in this game. And again, that Nasir Little shooting 2 for 8, having 4 points. 2 assists and a rebound, over 2 from 3, it's people talking about that again. And what's wrong with Nasir? Why isn't he playing more? Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, but it is what it is. We'll have to bounce back. And we did bounce back against both Davidson and Harvard. We beat Davidson by 22, 82-60. Didn't shoot great. Again, the percentages look okay. 44% for the game, 35% from 3. But 8 for 23 from 3 isn't great. We held them at 30% from the field and 26% from 3. But this is more, again, it's playing a mid-major. We took control. We used our advantages inside. We got out and ran, that kind of stuff. And it wasn't, again, it was just kind of a whatever game. They stuck around. Let's see, if the halftime score, we're up 11. Even that, I think we went on a little bit of a run at the end. I think the end of the first half, beginning of the second half, was kind of a big run there that we pulled away. But they kind of, stuck around and were right there. And then kind of we just, ran them into the ground kind of thing. But Cam Johnson, again, 17 points. Kenny Williams, 12. Garrison and Luke both had 11. So, again, when's the last time Garrison Brooks is at a game like that? But, we take advantage of the inside play. Luke May had 14 rebounds. Then off the bench, Nasir had 10, Sterling 5, Brandon Robinson, I think that is, 7 points with 2 threes. And then we got some garbage. I think it was Walker Miller or something with 2 points off the bench. So our assists looked better in this game. We had 20 assists. We had Kobe with 7, although 3 turnovers. Kenny Williams, 5 assists, did have 3 turnovers as well. Luke May, 3 assists with his 11 points, 14 rebounds. So, yeah, I mean, we look better, but again, there was Davidson. They were actually missing their best player. And as I was watching this game over break, I was actually in Nebraska watching with, some family, whatever, took a little break from Christmases. And yeah, the way they actually had a lead, I don't know, probably not quite halfway through the first half, but they had a lead there for a while. And it's like, if they're sticking with us, even, leading is one thing or a whole nother thing, but even just sticking with us and without their best player, like, that's not a good sign. And like I said, we kind of warmed down. We took advantage of what we could, and I guess you'd say blew them out. But out rebounded them 49, 39 or 33, so that was better than what we had done. 14 turnovers is better than we've done in some games. Only forced 13. But yeah, we kind of took care of business, did what we were supposed to do. And kind of the same story with Harvard. We beat them 77-57, only out-rebounded them by 4, 38-34. 11 turnovers for us. We forced 22, but I don't know if I would say even forced, because they've been turnover-prone in past games too. And the announcers talked about it, and people talked about it in the post-game quotes. Like, they have turned the ball over, so that we only got, well, I say only 22, but that we got 22 of them. Isn't that big of a surprise, and that's where we kind of took advantage for them. Again, shot a little bit worse actually in this game, 42% overall, 29% from the three-point line, and they actually shot better than us from the three-point line. They were 8 for 24, 33%, 39% from the field. But again, kind of we just took care of business. They did hang around a little bit, not as long as Davidson. We were up 10 at half, and then we just, took control there. We only let them score 26 in the second half. But this is more of, again, the athletes we had, and they aren't that good of a team. I think they were picked top of Ivy League. I don't, obviously we'll see what happens and stuff, but not a great team. They again are missing 2 of their best players, or the 2 best players they have. So yeah. Another thing I've heard being talked about is they had 8 blocks against us, and this Chris Lewis had 4 of them. So, is that going to be a problem? It was Sevens Woods got blocked a couple. I know, let's see, Garrison Brooks had at least 1 or 2. I'm trying to think if Luke, I don't know if I think Luke had at least 1 block against him. So, is that going to be a problem as we get into, obviously, better teams than Harvard? Are they going to be able to block us and control us inside a little bit there? Can we know the problems we have on the inside with this team? But individually, Luke led us 14 points, 7 rebounds. Cam Johnson, 13 points. Let's see, Kobe White had 13 points. Nasir, 12 off the bench. Kenny, 11. Garrison 7, and then off the bench we had Brandon Robinson with 2, and who was it? Leaky Black, 5 points, and he actually looked really good. He's 2 for 2, one of them a 3-pointer, getting a couple assists, and yeah, he looked really good. This, a little bit of note as far as inside play goes, we didn't have Sterling Manley in this game. They said soreness in his knee. But they said also that he's getting more tests done. They don't know kind of the full extent of that injury, or, so we don't know how long that's going to linger, if that's going to be a problem going forward into ACC play or not. He hasn't contributed a lot, like 4 points, 2.5 rebounds or something a game, but another big body, especially with Garrison Brooks getting in early foul trouble. Something kind of watch there. We actually went small more in this game, and there was actually a lineup that had Nasir Little playing the 5, and I guess it would have been Cam Johnson at the 4. Let's see who. I think it was Brandon Robinson at that point at the 3. No, well, Leaky Black was in as well. So I know it was Seventh Woods was in, Leaky Black was in, and I think it was Kenny Williams, and then Nasir and Cam. So kind of more of a 5 out even, so like really small. I don't know what the rebounds looked during that. Like I said, we only out rebounded on 38, 34. I don't know what the rebounds were while they were in. I know we outscored them. It wasn't huge. It's like 14-11 with that lineup in. And that's what it kind of seemed like. We could score easily with that lineup in, but we weren't really stopping them either. And it was at the point, it's, middle, probably a little bit past middle of the second half. So we had, a decent lead, comfortable lead. But we weren't, it's not like we were just outstanding with that lineup in. So I believe I heard somebody say too, I didn't notice it, but there was a lineup that had Seventh Woods and Kobe White in at the same time. Like I said, I didn't notice it. So again, probably didn't blow us away. But something maybe to see if we'll do more of as the season goes on and as ACC play goes, the bench gets shorter, that kind of stuff. But I believe I ran through individual stuff here. A little bit of other stuff. Kobe White, 4 assists to 1 turnover. Kenny Williams been so good at assists, actually 0 assists, 1 turnover in this game. A couple of blocks, a couple of steals. Cam Johnson had 3 steals in this one, 5 turnovers actually. A little bit of individual stuff there. Again, nothing spectacular there from those games. But now we are into 2019. I guess Harvard was our first game of 2019, so we start the year off with a win. But now we're going into ACC play. So now it really starts. We get going here. And it starts with Pittsburgh on Saturday. This is a noon Eastern tip. TV says Raycom, so I don't know exactly what that's going to mean. And actually, I was really dumb, didn't look at the schedule, and I scheduled a oil change for my car right at noon, which the game will start at 11 here since I'm Central Time here in Tennessee. But so pretty much right in the middle of the game, I'm going to be going to get the oil changed in my car. So that sucks. I hope I can either DVR to watch it later or be able to get it on my phone as I'm sitting there waiting for my car to be worked on. It's at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has a decent record now. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't have it here in front of me, but they've been fine, but really haven't beaten anybody. Aren't that good of a team. So again, it's at Pittsburgh. You never know. We've lost at Georgia Tech to bad Georgia Tech teams in the past. So we'll kind of see there, but a game we should win. And then we follow that one up. I guess that's also noticeable because it's Jeff Capel's first game as a head coach in the ACC. So his first ACC game there. I guess the fans will be pumped up. I don't know. We'll see. We followed that up though by traveling over to Raleigh on Tuesday, January 8th. That's a 9 p.m. Eastern tip. And it says either ESPN or ESPN2. Obviously, we know Roy's feelings about North Carolina State from past years. So our guys should be fired up. It's at their place. We know they'll be fired up. And Keats has got them playing. Again, they haven't really played or beaten anybody. They hung with Auburn, who's been good this year. That's their one loss this year. Haven't really beaten anybody. But, the record is that you play who you play, and you got to beat them or you don't. And they've been beating everybody except for Auburn on their schedule. So their confidence is high. They got the winner, quote unquote, if you're not watching the video, Kevin Keats there. So that'll be an interesting one. That one's, again, one will probably be favored in. I'd say probably by a few points. We should be favored probably 3 to 5 points, I'd say. But it's at their place. They're going to be fired up. They obviously, it's the rival game for them, and we'll see. It's definitely a losable game for. I should say it that way. Maybe we probably be favored. We probably should win it. Depends what North Carolina teams comes out. If we play like Gonzaga, I'd say we're going to win it. And come out and play like Kentucky or even some of these teams we won, but lesser talent. It could be a tight game. We definitely could lose. It's definitely losable. So obviously it'd be good to start the ACC playoff 2-0. We definitely have to be 1-1 in these games. If we go 2 here, that's not going to be a good start for us. I don't know. I also wanted to kind of just talk a little bit about where this team is at this point. I went back and looked kind of my predictions. I unfortunately didn't put what I thought they'd be in the non-conference, but I picked this team to have like 6 or 7 losses in the regular season. So with ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament, barring we don't win that, which I didn't predict, we'd have like 8 or 9 losses. I think I was a little bit low. Obviously, it was a little bit high on this team, I think, than what we were. We got 3 losses right now. I want to say we're 8-3 right now. See if I can find this real quick. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're 8-3, 9-3. We play 10-3, I guess. Okay. I knew we had 3 losses, but we're 10-3 right now. So that's about half the losses that I predicted for this full season. I don't think we're going to go through the ACC play with, 3-4 losses. I think we're going to probably end up with 5 or 6 at least in the ACC play. We easily could lose to Duke both times. Like I said, we could drop one to State. Virginia, I think we only play them once, but we definitely could drop that. Virginia Tech is a really good team. We played Louisville twice. We should be able to beat them, but Chris Mack's got them going pretty well. Let's see, Miami's really bad. Florida State is really good. It's at home for us, but that's one we could drop. So there's potential to drop, I'd say even 7 games, 8 games in the ACC. But right now, if I had to readjust, I would say we're probably going to lose 5 to 6 games in the ACC, which is probably not winning it, but we should be the top 3-4 teams in the ACC. So, kind of just readjusting my views there. I think I picked us to go to the Elite 8, but I think I've said this on a previous podcast as well. I think I would lean more towards the Sweet 16 as opposed to getting to the Final 4. Not that we can't do it; we have to get things going. Roll here, but just doesn't. I don't know. Our freshman, obviously Nasir isn't where everybody thought he would be, and wants him to be. Kobe's looking really good, but still has moments. Our leadership, Luke is putting up steady numbers, but definitely not the numbers as last year, where he surprised us so much. Kenny shot's been off. Cam's been really good for us. But beyond that too, what do we have? We just don't have. I know we got some steady scores. We just don't have that go-to guy. Luke, as a go-to guy this year, doesn't look as good as he did last year with, Joel and Theo behind him there. So, I don't know, readjusting expectations maybe of this team as we get into ACC play. I'm not quite as high on them as I was. Doesn't mean I don't like him. Doesn't mean I won't cheer for him, all that stuff. Don't jump down my throat or anything. But, yeah, I don't think I am anyway, as high as what I was at the beginning of the season. So, I don't know. We'll see here. But I think we're going to try to keep this podcast a little bit shorter. I'm going to skip my kind of look around around college basketball here. You can look at polls and stuff. Kentucky's kind of up a little bit. Gonzaga's been down a little bit. Virginia's up there yet, all that stuff. But I don't know. Yeah, we're going to skip that stuff. But as I close out here, again, just kind of going through some of the questions and comments on YouTube as I stream this. Just a couple of them. James Laughinghouse says, say they're not as good like Kentucky. Maybe they'll come out hot Saturday. Hopefully. I hope we get hot and we stay hot and we keep going. I don't want Gonzaga to be the peak of this season, the best that we play this season. So, yeah, we'll definitely see. And then Grant Bowden says, hey, Dan, I'm wondering if anyone knows who is the vocal leader on this team. From everything that's been said, it's been Kenny Williams. In practice, he's getting on guys, making sure trying to make sure they're in the right place on defense, and getting at them, trying to be more vocal. But again, I've said this before. I don't think it's his personality. So I think that is a problem, because he goes on and says, or are they lacking one? Will this hurt them in March? And then Happy New Year. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and commenting as well. But I do think I've questioned this before, kind of like the leadership. It almost needs to be kind of Kobe White that kind of come out maybe and takes control of the team and that kind of stuff. I think, and I've said this before, Kenny, Cam, Luke, they're more reserved guys, not, vocal, not like a Theo or like a Joel that's going to jump down your throat, Theo, to lighten things up kind of thing. They're kind of like that lead by example type of guy, and not the get in your face or to tell you to do something better or to do something different or anything like that. So, but everything that everybody said, Kenny's been vocal, been kind of that leader that way in practice and stuff. And I mean, I'm sure on the court too, I don't think it just changes, but I don't think that's his personality. So I don't know how well that works or how that affects the team necessarily. So definitely something I would say to kind of watch and be aware of and that kind of stuff. I think the more control Kobe were to take, and almost be the better, especially in games or on the court, to be that vocal leader, to be that, again, that coach on the court, like the point guard's supposed to be. So, I don't know. I did want to add too, before I take off, for Christmas, my wife actually got me tickets to the Florida State game, February 23rd. So I will be out there for the game against Florida State in the Dean Smith Center on Roy Williams court. So if anybody's going to be there, definitely hit me up. Let's get a picture together, meet up, whatever. I'll be out there all weekend. I fly, I guess, Friday morning, she said, and I get home or leave Sunday morning. So got the weekend out there. I'd love to hear if anybody else is going to be at that game. And just let me know. But now Tar Heel Nation actually commented, I love my Tar Heels, but if we don't get focused, we are cooked. Cooked is maybe a little bit strong, but yeah, I get the point. Like, we definitely have to get going if we want to accomplish what we want to accomplish this year. So thanks for joining, guys. That's all I got for you this week. Quick turnaround here as we play Saturday, Tuesday. I'll probably podcast Wednesday. Might have to push it up to Thursday. We'll see what the schedule looks like with these kids. But if you have kids, you know what that looks like and what that means. Real quick, Tar Heel Nation says ACC time now, so we are going to see what we're made of for sure. Before there's another comment here, I got to take off, guys. And thanks for listening. I'll see you guys next week for sure. And until then, go Heels.